Jacqueline Novogratz, So You Want to Change the World, Manifesto for a Moral Revolution. Welcome to the summary of So You Want to Change the World, Manifesto for a Moral Revolution by Jacqueline Novogratz. As you embark on this journey, prepare to explore the importance of discussing race and racism in the United States, shedding light on how it affects every aspect of society. Learn to recognize and address implicit biases, privilege, and microaggressions. The book offers valuable insights into topics such as affirmative action, cultural appropriation, myths surrounding marginalized communities, and concrete steps you can take to promote equality and drive meaningful change.
Racial Consciousness Guide. Ijeoma Oluo's book provides personal insights and constructive arguments on how to address race and racism in the United States. Her guide is recommended for new learners and seasoned activists alike, drawing critical acclaim and commercial success. It is an essential read for those seeking to understand the fight against racism, and serves as an excellent companion to books like How to Be an Anti-Racist and White Fragility. Oluo's work is a timely and perceptive insight into racial issues in contemporary America. Understanding Racism Today. Ijeoma Oluo's book, So You Want to Talk About Race, sheds light on the deeply entrenched nature of racism within society. Oluo highlights that people often fail to recognize their participation in systemic racism, regardless of their beliefs. Her straightforward approach challenges the reader to engage in difficult conversations about race, which many avoid. The popularity of her book reflects a growing desire among Americans to tackle racism head-on. Oluo's writing is both direct and thought-provoking, leaving a lasting impression on readers. Learning to Listen. In her book, So You Want to Talk About Race, Ijeoma Oluo advises white readers to listen to people of color and focus on their concerns rather than their own questions about race. She warns against expecting people of color to educate you and suggests discussing race with those who look like you. Oluo emphasizes the importance of apologizing when conversations go wrong and turning gaffes into opportunities to examine your biases. Highlighting the complicity of inaction in a racist system, Oluo emphasizes how privileges accrue from characteristics such as race, gender identity, and disability status. Implicit Bias and Racism in Law Enforcement and Education. In her book, Oluo exposes how implicit bias leads to racism in law enforcement and education. Black and Latino men are more likely to end up behind bars, while teachers disproportionately punish students of color. Shocking statistics reveal that police officers use force or kill people of color at a much higher rate compared to whites. Oluo shares her personal experience of being afraid of the police as a black teenage girl. She challenges white readers to engage in conversations about racism rather than expecting people of color to bear the burden alone. Rethinking Affirmative Action. Oluo argues for expanding affirmative action to improve diversity in workplaces and schools. The author highlights that affirmative action targets are lower than the population of disenfranchised groups. Microaggressions and Cultural Appropriation. In Microaggressions, Oluo defines casual actions and comments that expose hidden biases. These seemingly harmless gestures can lead to feelings of isolation and depression for Black individuals. From invasive requests to racial slurs, microaggressions interrupt daily life, highlighting the double standard in society when it comes to cultural appropriation. Oluo urges all cultures to consider their actions before assimilating customs that aren't theirs. A timely and thought-provoking read for anyone interested in racial issues in contemporary society. Asian American Myth. Oluo exposes the model minority myth that portrays Asian Americans as prosperous, passive, hardworking, and educated. The author uncovers the harsh reality of Asian American struggles, including a third of them with communication difficulties. Oluo highlights anti-Muslim hate crimes against South Asians and the issue of intimate partner abuse faced by Asian American women. She argues that the model minority stereotype creates division among people of color and urges them to unite and share experiences. Challenging False Dichotomies. Ijeoma Oluo debunks the idea that people of color need to earn freedom from racial oppression by being virtuous, in her thought-provoking book, So You Want to Talk About Race? Through personal reflection, she concludes that pigeonholing individuals into categories like peacemaker or angry only marginalizes their experiences. Instead, Oluo calls attention to the pain that people of color experience from living in an abusive system. Her writing is clear and courageous in exposing hard truths about racism that readers need to confront. Productive conversations and equality. In her book, So You Want to Talk About Race? Oluo provides actionable steps for implementing equality. These include electing diverse candidates, supporting businesses owned by people of color, boycotting exploitative companies, speaking consciously, serving as a witness for people of color during police stops. The book emphasizes that words can drive productive change, and these small steps can make a significant difference towards a more just society.
Now that you've journeyed through this vital exploration of race and racism in the United States, it's clear that engaging in these conversations is essential. By understanding the impact of privilege and implicit bias, identifying and countering microaggressions, and addressing systemic racism through affirmative action and other measures, we can begin to dismantle these pervasive problems. Jacqueline Novogratz's call to action should inspire each of us to establish a more equal and just society through personal, social, and political channels. Let this moral revolution guide you as you continue to engage in important conversations and take practical steps to advocate for equality and justice.